quiet night ended with a terrifying truth waiting for me to discover. It was almost midnight when I finally pulled into the driveway of the little house I shared with Emma. After a long day of classes and work, I was dead on my feet, and all I wanted was to crash into bed. The house was dark and quiet as I stepped inside. Emma had probably gone to bed hours ago. I kicked off my shoes, letting them clatter onto the floor, and dumped my bag on the couch, not even bothering to turn on the lights. Sleep was all I could think about. I barely made it to my room before I collapsed onto my bed, still in my clothes. The second my head hit the pillow, I was out like a light. I woke up to this weird noise like scratching, and for a second, I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or not. I lay there in the dark, my heart starting to pound as I realized the sound was real, and coming from outside, near the back of the house. Then came a knock on my bedroom door, soft but urgent. I nearly jumped out of my skin. "Sarah, are you awake?" Emma's voice was a shaky whisper. I quickly got up and opened the door to find her standing there, looking terrified. "I heard something outside," she whispered, her eyes wide. "It sounds like someone's trying to get in." My stomach twisted. I grabbed her hand and pulled her over to my window, the one that overlooked the backyard. I was scared out of my mind, but I had to see what was going on. Slowly, I pulled the curtain back just a crack. I couldn't see much at first, but then I noticed it. A figure moving through our yard, sticking close to the house like it didn't want to be seen. My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't just some animal or a random noise. Someone was out there. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. I tried to keep my voice steady as I told the dispatcher what was happening. Her calm tone didn't match the panic I was feeling.
"We've had reports of an armed man trying to break into homes nearby,"
she said, which only made my fear spike.
"Stay inside, lock your doors, and keep away from the windows. Officers are on the way."
I hung up, my heart hammering in my chest. Emma and I huddled together in the corner of the room, far from the window. We didn't say a word, both of us too scared to even breathe too loudly. Every creak of the house, every rustle from outside felt like it was getting louder, like the whole house was holding its breath. Then we heard it, a sharp crack that made us both jump. The sound of glass shattering echoed through the house. I squeezed Emma's hand, trying not to freak out. The guy had broken one of the windows. He was trying to get in. My mind was racing and I was practically holding my breath, hoping the cops would get here in time. Suddenly, the room lit up with the flashing blue and red of police lights. I peeked out the window again, my heart in my throat. The yard was filled with officers, their flashlights cutting through the dark. I could see the guy now, half inside the house, his hand dripping blood from the broken glass. The cops moved in fast, surrounding him. There were shouts, and then the sound of a struggle. I watched, frozen, as they pulled him out of the window and slammed him to the ground, handcuffing him. I felt a wave of relief, but it was mixed with a lingering fear that wouldn't go away. The next morning, the sun was shining and everything looked normal, but the fear from the night before was still hanging over us. Neither of us had slept much, too wired from everything that had happened. We finally worked up the nerve to go outside and check the damage. The backyard was a mess. The grass was trampled where the cops had been, and the back door had deep scratches from where the guy had tried to break in. But it was the window that really got to me. The glass was shattered, pieces scattered all over the ground, and there was blood. Dark smears on the broken glass and the windowsill, a gross reminder of how close we'd come to real danger. Emma looked like she was going to be sick. He really was trying to get inside. I nodded, feeling that same cold fear settle back in. The sight of the broken window and the blood was proof of just how close we'd come to something horrible. It made me feel exposed, like our little safe house had been violated. "I don't think I'll ever feel safe here again," Emma murmured, echoing what I was feeling. I didn't say anything, just stared at the shattered window. The night had changed something in both of us. That broken glass and the blood stains were going to be a permanent reminder of how close we'd come to something terrifying, and how quickly safety could shatter.